everyone. Welcome to the post-game show.
Short game.
Yeah. Tau, not being one of those armies that just blows your opponent off the table in 2 or 3 turns.
Yeah.
Now, there were a couple of mistakes made that some might have been critical, some not. I don't think in the end it would have mattered that much, but in case you're flaming me, I made a mistake with my psychic powers. Turn 1. Now, I cast Vortex of Doom on... I wanted on the Wraith, on your Riptide. I failed, which made him peril. Now, I did roll either 2 or 3 ones. Now, I forgot I had the Diamond Library Dominica, and if I re-rolled those ones and I passed, it would have prevented the peril. That being said, the odds of that actually happening were slim. So, basically, even if I remembered that reroll, the odds were that I still would have perilled. I rolled a 1. I failed my leadership test. And luckily he didn't blow up his fellow man, but I gave you Slay the Warlord. Isn't that...
First Blood.
You have to argue... I think you have to give me... I think I gave you the best Slay the Warlord First Blood ever.
Oh, yeah.
In a battle report or in a game, because you didn't anything to deserve that.
No.
That was amazing. You earned it without doing anything.
You know, we seem to have a lot of... I seem to have a lot of luck first term. So the odds of that being miscast like that and failing leadership and all the rest of it was about 1 in 150 roughly.
Yeah. 0.2%.
And I think that's pretty comparable to what happened with the Necrons.
Yeah. Yeah, and both times it's the littlest thing, and that thing completely rippled throughout the entire game. Losing my Librarian, that squad lost Sanctuary, and I gave you Slay the Warlord and First Blood.
Yeah.
2 points, and the loss of Sanctuary completely nerfs Drago. Not completely nerfs Drago, he's still solid, but a 2-up invul versus a 3-up invul is huge.
Difference. It doesn't sound like much, but has a huge game impact.
Right? It doubles the chances of him failing an armor save, or an invul save. And then with Feel No Pain and stuff. So that was huge. Now, I don't think the mistake there cost as much. And then there was another mistake later in the game that we both kind of realized afterwards was my strategy.
For the assault, when he went in against the droids and the fire warriors, I lost the combat. I put down that I lost by 1 more than I actually did. Now, we'd have to actually go back and take a look to see if it actually mattered.
The droids may have passed, but all that would have done was delay you killing me by a turn.
Yeah.
Or it might have just changed what you killed. Maybe it would have focused on the 4 guys in the back.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't too big of a change. So, what do I think of Tau? All right, again, I'm not going to call this game boring, but it was only... But my argument in my Codex review was that if your opponent wasn't a guy like me and like someone who's fun and loves to see these fun rolls, could you have seen like... he's not watching this, or he might be. There's certain guys in our meta that would have flipped the table.
Possibly, yeah. Or at least walked away angrily and smoked a cigarette.
Yeah. Now, I'm not dropping any names. We know who you are. But yeah, like to me, that I brought arguably the most survivable list I could think of, and I got blown away after 2 turns.
Now, the optimized stealth cadre was points efficient, and I think it's a very solid unit because the +1 BS you get from it, plus the +1 BS from the formation, you're firing at BS 5. Strength 5, that many, so 24, 28, so about 34 shots roughly. Some of them strength 7, most of them strength 5. That's a lot to deal with.
To me, now the tower putting up more dice than orcs, but they're hitting on 3s and 2s, and with better guns.
Well, this is something, we've got like a local group that we kind of discuss some things on, and something I suggested a while back is it almost feels like in the game, and maybe there's just because I was doing Skitarii and Tau and seeing the stuff with Elder and what have you, but it almost feels like ballistic skill doesn't matter that much anymore, that it's just, you know, how many 1s did you roll, and that's...
For you guys.
And sometimes not even that.
I play Orcs and Tyranids. That matters. But I agree, though, that I'd say base ballistic skill doesn't matter anymore, because now so many armies have the ability to up themselves up, and Tau are second to none in that, unfortunately, for me. You wiped off a Dread Knight.
Yeah.
From 1 squad of Fire Warriors.
Yeah, now that's some bad dice rolling, but it's still...
Yeah.
a strength 6 shooting on base guys. Like most
Yeah.
armies pay a lot of points to get maybe one special weapon in there at that kind of.
And that's their base. That's your troop.
Yeah.
Like that's like to me. I know I said I'm not hating on Tau. I think they're a good army. I just feel that game. I wouldn't have said boring, but I would have said my biggest complaint in my Codex review was that all it is your opponent's shooting phase when you're playing against a Tau player,
And shooting you in the assault phase.
and then shooting me in like you did almost as many wounds as I did in the assault phase. I didn't kill a single model in the shooting phase, and I killed what we just said about 175 points.
Yeah, about that.
And my Grey Knight list was by no means non-competitive. I think it was a pretty competitive Grey Knights list.
Yeah, and in that codex, in the Tau codex, I mean, having the two Riptides not Riptides, Hammerheads.
You didn't include a single Pathfinder.
No, I didn't. Well, that was part of the intention of this list. I want to see if by having all of the piranhas and the devilfish and all those droids, if I could get enough, 3 points of fire that I could ignore having the marker lights. And I think you can do it fairly effectively.
Yes. For as far as ballistic skill goes, I completely agree. Now, if you faced an army that relied solely on cover, then it would have been a kind of different outcome because you needed to remove that cover.
Yeah, but you've got the optimized stealth cadre in there, and that they ignore cover.
Yeah.
If at least 2 of them are firing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just like let's say, I don't obviously I don't run this, but like all White Scars bike list or the all Ravenwing list, then you would have faced a couple issues.
I think the Ravenwing list still has. I think Tal's in trouble with Ravenwing.
I'd say competitive build versus like a couple of competitive builds I've seen. It literally means who goes first.
Yeah.
If the Ravenwing goes first, they scout, move, destroy you. But if they go second, you just blow half of them out of the water before they can even do anything because they wouldn't scout to be closer to you because then you're in rapid fire range and stuff.
Well, the nice thing with the bikes is you can probably avoid all of the small fire by just staying near the back and then start to move up and stay out of the double tap range until you go into assault. And now, that 12-inch Overwatch.
Huge!
That's big. I mean, it used to be back in the last codex, you had to be careful. You had to really be mindful of where you're daisy chaining your guys out. Now, holy jeez, 12 inches, you don't even need to think about it.
No, and that was the thing. Like when the Triple Vindicator list came out, I thought of Tau would be really a disadvantage because they had to turtle in the corner. But now, it is like Tau's answer. Because, you drop a large blast on them, who cares? 12 inches now is not as big. Like, now with 12 inches for Overwatch, you can actually space your guys out significantly.
Yeah.
And you only ran one Riptide.
And I had the commander that becomes Flying Monster Screecher.
Yeah.
Probably initially when I heard about him, I thought that's fantastic. But then when you see the mechanics of it, a failed grounding test will kill him dead every time because it's strength 10 AP 1 something like that. When you fall down,
it's strength 8.
Strength 8.
At least double his toughness for sure. He's the only case where he's the only flying monster creature that has a toughness value lower than 5.
Yeah. So as soon as he fails that, he's dead.
Yeah.
If you get one Space Marine with a flak missile skyfiring you, you're dead. If you fail that Jinx save. He's kind of nice in that he's got that 12-inch bubble that he lets people run or move flat out, then shoot. You didn't see it too much in this game, but it's a nice ability.
Yep.
But points-wise, I think you're much, much better off going with the buff commander that has all the universal special rule buffs that he can toss out.
Yeah, now providing that we're assuming that based on our interpretation of the rules, which we think is logical, but you never know, it could be FAQ'd against that.
It could be FAQ'd against. I think...
Because certain tournaments are FAQ'd against, but that's their opinion, not GW.
Yeah, I think if you go straight by rules as written, you have a pretty hard time coming up with an argument against it. I was kind of surprised some tournaments even made a question about it.
Oh, snap. Speaking of tournaments, there is a tournament coming up.
Yep.
Brawl in the Hall.
Peterborough, Ontario, Canada.
First two-person tournament.
Doubles tournament, 2,000 points.
1,000 points each.
1,000 points each. $30 a team. Some pretty good prizes.
Yep.
We're also going to have...
Get to meet him.
get to meet everyone. Really fantastic train. There's going to be a vendor on
Super
site.
fantastic.
Oh, fantastic!
Super fantastic train.
Yeah, actually, it's going to be bumped up again for the next one.
All right.
There's going to be vendor on hand selling stuff at least 20% off, if not 25. So, yeah, but good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Pretty good yard sale too. Folks bring in
tons of stuff. It's a
the
swap.
old stuff. Yeah,
It's a very much swap. So, and link will be in the description below, everyone, for the link to the website. Thank you as always. That was a great game. I'm glad to see that the Tau have improved, and I also feel quite vindicated because your list. When we looked at your list was not very. No, your list was competitive, but by no means a uber Tau cheese list.
Yeah, I think you could easily suggest my list had like 600 points plus of fat that could have been easily trimmed.
And I killed 175 points total.
Yep.
2 turns. I got some points though. It was pretty close score-wise. But yeah, I feel vindicated and I feel good. And I had some bad luck, but I feel like the Tau were strong. And that's what yeah. Oh.
Next, sisters.
I'm excited.
Moving on to sisters.
Who should I face sisters? I'll try. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
Orcs versus sisters would be fun.
That would be fun. Weakest 7th edition codex versus non-existent 7th edition codex.
Yeah.
Okay. Done and done. Yeah. I think that has to be done. Okay. So thank you as always for coming. It was awesome. Very much a pleasure. And I'm very cool because I like the fact that I tried the same list against you that we did the previous Tau. And obviously last time I had stupidly good luck with the Vortex of Doom. And this time
not so much.
Didn't. But that's okay. That's the risk with Vortex of Doom.
Should say too, this is my second time playing with the new Codex, so might have been a thing or two missed, but as always I try and be pretty good.
We tried, exactly. So thank you as always for watching. Until next time, this is Jay and
Dave
saying